Some new eyebrow-raising comments.
I don't understand why it's so difficult for the press to have a consistent narrative about how dangerous Trump is. We can't go back and give this very dangerous man another chance to do harm to our country and the world. They were merciless about what they saw as President Biden's, problems in the debate and calling for him to withdraw.
Okay, here to react, Fox News contributor Joe Concha. Joe, good morning to you. So it sounds like Hillary Clinton does not agree with Republicans when they say that kind of rhetoric is what is leading to these assassination attempts.
And Carly, it's just so sad. It's so pathetic to see Hillary Clinton continue her very public psychiatric therapy tour nearly, what are we at now, 8 years after she was defeated in an election that basically every pundit says was impossible to lose. She's still not over it. And there she is on national television last night with Rachel Maddow, who gets paid $30 million to work one night a week. Boy, can we get that contract? Saying the press needs to create a consistent narrative about how dangerous Trump is. I mean, that's an actual quote. Another one, he is a danger to our country and the world. 24 hours after Donald Trump is nearly assassinated again, and this is what NBC, MSNBC allows on their airwaves. And as you noted before the break, pushing this rhetoric will only drive somebody to try again until that person is successful. It's quite pathetic. It's the only word I can come to mind here, Todd. Carly.
Yeah, it does beg the question, what is it going to take for the left to stop? And I worry, Joe, that your prediction there, sadly, could be reality. But let's pray that does not happen. VP Kamala Harris will be sitting down for 2 hours, not one, but 2 hours with Oprah Winfrey on Thursday. This past Friday, she did her first solo interview as the Democrat nominee with ABC News. This is the affiliate in Philly. Listen.
When we talk about bringing down prices and making life more affordable for people, what are one or two specific things you have in mind for that?
Well, I'll start with this. I grew up a middle-class kid. I grew up in a neighborhood of folks who were very proud of their lawn.
And so I wonder if there are one or two spots, policy areas or approaches where you would say, I'm a different person.
Well, I'm obviously not Joe Biden. And, I offer a new generation of leadership.
I, too, have a nice lawn. I've also been to Europe, but none of that's real important right now. Look, Joe, she told us that she is going to do all of these local interviews, one-on-one in the swing states. But after whatever that was, that Philly interview, did that put an end to that, Joe? Much like, speaking of Philly, Saquon's drop put an end to Philly's chance at a win last night?
I stayed up and watched that game, hence why I may look a little bit tired. And a nice win by the Falcons, to your point, winning in the last second there. Kirk Cousins can win in primetime, go figure. But to get to the point of your question, Todd, look, she is so bad at this. I mean, so very bad. She gave that answer during the debate. She gave it again during the interview last night. How are you going to lower prices? How are you going to lower inflation? Well, I grew up in a middle-class family, and people really love their lawns. Watch the whole 11-minute interview. It is hard to watch, and it is amazing that this person very well could be the next president of the United States. Kamala Harris has never run a lemonade stand, and now we're supposed to expect that she could run the U.S. economy, especially after what we saw between her and Joe Biden as far as they've run the country for the first 3.5 years. So that's that. But I do want to introduce Teddy, guys, here, because he's been on my lap the entire time. He was barking, and I had to do something.
I mean, we need no other image. Hi, Teddy, the puppy. That is so cute.
5 minutes with Teddy.
And the new addition to your fam. How is he doing?
Oh, he's doing great. Gets along with my other dog, Max, but he barks when I'm on television, apparently, so I had to hold him throughout this entire interview. But here we are.
Well, thank you for introducing us to your adorable
Teddy,
dog.
America
thanks you as well. Joe, have a great day with Teddy and your other dog and kids and wife as well.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.